Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I'm reviewing Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This is one of those really unique romance novels that is nuanced. Like, it's poignant, it's heartfelt, there's really rich undercurrents, like emotional undercurrents throughout the story with these characters, and you immediately care about them, and the writing is beautiful. I have nothing but good things to say about this. I gave it 5 stars. So it's told in alternating timelines. It follows Sam and Percy, our two main characters, from like preteen childhood and into adult years, like chopping it up a little bit. When Percy's parents buy like a little cottage along the lake, she spends her summers there and becomes friends with the neighbor boys, Sam and his brother Charlie. Sam and Percy just like hit it off. They become like the best of friends, and then as they grow up, they still maintain their friendship even with going to like different schools and like really living in different places most of the time. They just always look forward to the summers. But then something happens. That's kind of like the mystery that propels the story along. Oh my god, don't even get me started on like the angsty tension. It's great. That really propels the story too. But there's this like mystery element where you don't know what it is that caused this rift for them, because they've gone 10 years without speaking. And you're like, God, what could have happened for that amount of time to pass? So you get that 10 years later with this call for her to go back to this town that she hasn't been to in 10 years, while also seeing their relationship develop as preteens and teenagers. The pacing is fantastic. The writing is beautiful. I'm going to read just 1 or 2 quick passages from the book itself, because if you're a sucker for good writing, like, let that be the thing that gets you in the door with this book. It is so worth reading. I have many highlights in this. Many. But every so often, I catch myself fantasizing about leaving the city, finding a small place on the water to write, working at a restaurant on the side to pay the bills, and my skin starts to feel too tight, like my life doesn't fit. Doesn't that like give you chills? It gives me chills. Maybe it's because I relate to it so much. The weather changed the 3rd week of August. A thick cover of dark clouds settled over the Providence, their overstuffed bellies drenching everything from Algonquin Park to Ottawa. I probably said that wrong. Cottagers packed up early and left for the city. A light mist moved in over the lake, making everything look black and white. Even the green hills on the far shore looked gray, as though they had been shrouded in gauze. Isn't that so pretty? She has so many little beautiful moments in here, and a lot of them are like quick little unexpected adjectives that like lead you thinking, I don't know, she's gonna say like, I don't know, like it gave me butterflies, but instead she'll say like butterflies swarmed my stomach. Just like a little something that makes it unexpected, which I'm such a fan of. If you're planning on reading it, let me know down in the comments. If you have read it, let's talk about it. But that is all for the non-spoiler section. I now will be talking about plot points and spoiling elements, so please come back when you have read it, or if you don't mind being spoiled, you can stick around. Another really successful element that she was able to achieve in this was the doubt. Like, these two as children were, I don't want to say outcasts, that feels like very caricature-like, and I don't want to cheapen it, but, you know, like, they didn't fit in. The kind of doubt that you have, like, about yourself and, like, who you are as a person and if people like you, that, like, really gets stomped on when you're in those situations where you do feel so different from people. So even when you're in a comfortable and positive relationship, you still have that doubt. And I feel like the psychology was really kind of, like, woven into this, like, into their makeup as characters, and I loved that. Something I really loved about Percy is when she came back, she was so determined to, like, leave there and have some kind of a relationship. Like, she feels horrible about what happened. At that point, you don't know what it was. And there was this one part when she'd walked into I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but the restaurant, into the back where she ran into him. And she thought, I'm determined not to leave here on Sunday and never see him again. Even if it means dealing with him being in a relationship with someone else. Even if it means planning his fucking wedding. Like, that to me shows how much she cared about him and even just their friendship. And that is something that is sometimes overlooked. And I felt like that was like the spine of the story. It was them as friends. Does that make sense? The spine of the story, like the thing that holds it up. I think that makes sense. I also really liked that right after he ran in with Percy, that I can't think of her name, Taylor, he like immediately was like, nope, I'm cutting this. He didn't drag Taylor on, which would have been unfair for her. And it eliminated a sometimes overused, though the occasion is appropriate sometimes, element of having like this third wheel type thing. Like, it was very quickly like nixed. And I liked that. I fully prepared myself for thinking, oh no, this is what the story's gonna be. Like, will he or won't he? but he like knew what he wanted. It spoke to how much that he still cared for her. And he was just a good dude. He was just a good dude. Like, he did the right thing there, I think. I mentioned psychology briefly. I don't know if maybe that's like the appropriate word to use in this particular instance, but when they were older and they'd graduated high school and he had gone off to that workshop early for college, and he was like really short with her, and she was like thought spiraling down into a really negative place, understandably. But what I found so good, it comes with like the awareness of being an adult and realizing like where you fucked up. He just didn't want to disappoint her and thinking like, oh yeah, I basically left for no reason because it's not what I expected. He was overwhelmed. It was totally different. Like, it was a lot for him. And his reaction to that was to try, and however misguided a way, to kind of protect her from seeing that, to guard her against that. From his perspective, we can see that his reasons were sound, but we're initially getting it from her perspective, and you completely understand why she's thought spiraling down. And I think a lot of us would probably spiral in a similar way. So both sides were well represented. I mean, obviously in different timelines, but they both were. Like, you could really see both perspectives. And again, something that she did super, super well. Now, her sleeping with Charlie, I did not, well, I don't know. I knew there was something with Charlie. I didn't think it'd be that. I thought it'd be some kind of misunderstanding. I didn't think it'd be an all the way thing, which makes it like a harder thing for her to like come back from, so to speak. But at this point, we'd already like, we're emotionally invested. Like, we really care about her. We care about Sam. We even like Charlie too. And it's just like the betrayal from that, complicated emotions. All parties had fault in different aspects that led up to / participate. Like, it was messy, but it felt very honest. It didn't feel like blame game. I don't know if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. What I found really just like so sad was when she had come back as an adult and the 10 years later, she was trying to confess to Sam, like when they were first drinking at the restaurant, and he's like brushing her off and kind of saying like, I know. And she's thinking, yeah, you know, you don't actually know. You think it's this, but it's really way worse. You think it's just that she turns down his proposal, but he knew the whole time. And he was still so happy to see her. He was still so willing to, I don't know, after 10 years, I guess some of the stings out of it a little, but so willing to work past that level of betrayal in order to have some kind of friendship. And like, they both were so willing to do that. So that's, again, like their friendship being like the spine of the story. And it just worked so well. This book had me crying like the whole time. I'm an easy crier though. But this one part, like his mom, oh my god. I was waiting for this line. I would have been disappointed if it wasn't in here actually. When Charlie says, she told me to call you. He says, serious again. I stopped breathing. Before she died, she said he'd need you after. That got me so bad. Percy, she's my favorite. She's my girl. I relate to her in a lot of ways. Things that she thought, like when she was a preteen, I was like, oh my god, that's me. That's exactly how I was raised. I was such a people pleaser, which I very much got that from her. The like, do what they expect of you. Like, you want that praise, you know? Being a child who preferred earning gold stars to causing trouble, I didn't give them much need for discipline, and I had no idea how to cope, except to try my hardest to win them back. I so resonate with that. And then just like a little moment, like a body positivity thing. I have no issues with my body. Okay, yes, I have plenty of issues, but I recognize them as insecurities and don't tend to worry too much about my soft belly or my bumpy thighs. I just loved that managed to make its way into the final draft. I don't see it very often, and I think it's kind of like my own fault. I'm not going out of my way to find body positivity romances. I know there are some. I need to read them. But I really liked that. It was like a surprising little element that I didn't expect. I found a couple little beautiful parts that I'm going to read to just finish out the video. I've seen this look from him before. Stormy and focused and completely consuming. Like I could fall into his eyes and never get out. Isn't that pretty? I just need a minute alone, away from Sam, because I feel like I've been scraped over a cheese grater. See what I mean about those like really different like metaphor? Like, I just love it. The pine boughs looked like they were coated in diamond dust, glittering on the inky water below. Celery green eyes, like, I cannot get enough. I want to hear your favorite parts. Give me a favorite quote. I would love that. I'm such a quote person. I hope that you enjoyed. If you are new here, please do subscribe. I do videos like this, reviewing books, as well as reading from some of your favorite books, which you guys often submit to me, and so that we can like mutually get hooked on a good book that maybe we wouldn't have otherwise heard about. So I hope you stick around, and I'll see you next time. Bye.